You know, sometimes a series just doesn't hit right off the bat, and that's fine. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. As always, guys, I am Andrew, and today we are going to be kind of discussing some sequels. You know, a lot of the times you start a series and you're like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Well, I want to talk about 10 series where I was just kind of on the fence of just like, should I continue this? And then like I just kept on reading, and eventually I got to that gem. And so I want to talk about those gems within these series. Guys, let's just jump right on into this and let's go along for the ride. So, starting off, this is an actual popular one where people are like, it's got first book syndrome. That's going to be the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. We start with Stormfront, and guys, like, it's not the most polished work that's coming from Jim Butcher. But I will say that the series just gets better and better and evolves and evolves. And a lot of people will tell you, wait till you hit changes. And I know it's book 12, and they're like, oh God, like, book 12? Yeah, book 12. But the payoff and the just hard-hitting moments are so worth it. Honestly, this is just one that I feel that if people like the noir, they like the urban fantasy, they like the wizards, they like the fae, they like all of these things, it all swirls together to just form a beautiful series. And it pays off once you hit changes. And even before then, I mean, you've got Proven Guilty, you've got Deadbeat, you've got so many entries within the Dresden series that are just not indicative of those first two books, Stormfront and Full Moon. So honestly, it's one of those series where I'd be like, hey, read the first couple books. That said, the next one, a lot of people don't like Senlin, from Senlin Ascends. And when you get to Hod King, you're like, oh, that is different. It is so not indicative of the series. What's interesting about the first book, Senlin Ascends, is that it's very, very Senlin focused. But the rest of the series is not Senlin focused. And guys, Hod King is honestly one of the biggest level ups I have seen a series do in a long time. I know very few people that continued the series and did not say that Hod King did not take it to another level for them. This book is just absolutely phenomenal and worth getting through book one to get to that multi-POV kind of setup. Next up, this one's also kind of a hard sell for some people. And that's going to be King of Thorns. This is a perfect second book for the Broken Empire trilogy by Mark Lawrence. A lot of people don't like Prince of Fools, and I get it. I understand. Jorg is not somebody that is easy to like. In fact, you're not supposed to like him. You're not supposed to empathize with him. Jorg is a very bad person. He is power hungry. He is out for himself. The first book is borderline nihilistic. A lot of people get turned off in the first chapter. And, I mean, it's sad because the second book is just something so special. Honestly, like, the split timelines here are superb. The growth that Jorg has gone through in the King of Thorns entry of this trilogy is just next level. And honestly, like, if you've read Prince of Fools and you're kind of on the fence of like, I don't really want more of that, King of Thorns is just a different vibe. I really, really enjoy it. Alright, let's talk some self-pub, because we've got the Threadlight series. Honestly, Voice of War is good. It is a solid fantasy book. Stones of Light, though. Stones of Light, literally on this cover, it says a flawless sequel. And that's because it really is. From book one, we kind of have a little bit of a looser structure. And then in book two is just like, it's non-stop action. We are getting resolution after resolution of plot thread. We are getting reveals. We are getting hard-hitting action moments. It is fantastic. I cannot wait for Bonds of Chaos, which is book 3 that's coming out this year in August. And then, surprising nobody, let's talk some Faithful and the Fallen. I know a lot of people are not the biggest fan of Malice. And I get it. It's very, very basic. It's very, very tropey. Valor is where it really starts to evolve the series. And in fact, if we're going to be just talking the rest of the series, Ruin levels up even further. I didn't have this one pulled out. I just had to grab it. Ruin blew my mind. Valor is where this series took off for me, though. I fell in love at Valor. It's so good. The cast and the characters and the reveals and the meeting of the new characters. Like, each book introduces new characters. Just the payoffs and the shocking moments. And the reveals that we get within the series. And the betrayals and the counterplots. All of it's just really well done. And if we're going to talk about leveling up, there is only one series that could really have to be on this list. That's going to be the Farseer Trilogy by Robin Hobb. Guys, Assassin's Apprentice was good. It was really, really good. It's not in the same ballpark. It's not in the same league as Royal Assassin. The sophomore outing on Realm of the Outerlings it's still one of the best books I've ever read in my life. And I wish I could say I was exaggerating, but I'm not. And frankly, I mean, guys, if you don't have these illustrated editions, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, go and get these. They're super affordable. They're very high quality. They're well made. Yes. Yes to Royal Assassin. Fitz just does a lot of growing up between the first and the second book. Now, don't get me wrong. He's still kind of petulant. He's still very much the bastard child of a prince. But, like, guys, we get to see him struggle through adversity. We get to see him be utilized a little better. We get to see him start making his own choices. No matter their repercussions, it's a lot of fun. The next series is one that is just near and dear to my heart. Guys, that is going to be Night Watch. This is the City Watch Collection, Book 6 from Discworld. And, like, Guards was good, but I could see people just being like, yeah, this was good. I don't really see a need to continue. Feet of Clay was also really good. But then you've got some weaker books. You've got, like, Thud, which is Book 7. You've got The Fifth Elephant, which is Book 5. You've got Django, which is Book 4. But when you get to Night Watch, like, if Guards was here, and let me keep it in frame. If Guards was here, Feet of Clay was, it was here. They're comparable. And then, like, all of a sudden, you get to Night Watch, which is here. Like, this is fantastic, because this is the first time where we really take Vimes and shunt him off on his own. And the way the story progresses, and, like, Vimes dealing with his own rage, and his just drive for nothing but equality and justice within Ankh-Morpork is just fantastic. I honestly love Night Watch. Like, Night Watch and Snuff, I could have held up Snuff here as well, are just some of the best middle of the series to ending books I have read ever. Frankly, last year was a really good reading year. And then, shocking me, because I should have remembered this, our next entry is The Drawing of the Three by Stephen King, because The Gunslinger was alright. Like, it was a book. It was a 4-star read. Like, it's nothing mind-blowing. And then all of a sudden you get to Drawing of the Three, and you want to talk about, like, levels of, like, Gunslinger's here. Drawing of the Three is out of frame. Like, it is fantastic. Stunning, as my buddy Dominish would say. Or, no, excuse me. Dominish would say striking. But, it's fantastic. I loved this book. Seeing, Roland deal with, like, different dimensions, different worlds, and just going through him growing as a character, striving to meet his goals, really, really understanding and learning to cooperate with our growing cast of characters. Eddie is fantastic. Detta is fantastic. Like, there is just so much to love within The Drawing of the Three. Like, I can't believe that I forgot how much I love this book. Now, granted, it's been 14 years. I just finished the reread, and I'm just sitting there slack-jawed, stunned with how good The Drawing of the Three was, compared to The Gunslinger. All right, we got two more. And this is the one where I have to eat a little bit of crow. And that's Red Country by Joe Abercrombie. I have been a Joe Abercrombie pretty much a naysayer. Where I'm like, yeah, he's good, but like I don't understand all the fuss. Then I hit Red Country, where it just kind of all ties all 6 books together. We get a lot of payoff, and now we are ready for the Age of Madness. I enjoyed the Blade itself. Didn't have a whole lot going on. I enjoyed Before They Are Hanged. Again, like, some of that didn't really need to happen. Last Argument of Kings, I'm very vocal on not enjoying the last 30% of that. Best Served Cold, I was very critical on. The Heroes, I was like, yeah, that was okay. And then we hit this 5-star beauty. And I was just blown away. I didn't think I was going to be like, they're like, oh, it's kind of Western themed. I was like, that doesn't sound all that great. But I am never happier to be incorrect. So yes, Red Country is exquisite. And I've heard varying opinions where it's either Best Served Cold that you're going to love or Red Country. For me, it was Red Country. And speaking of eating crow, we've got The Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio. I just finished this last week. I put this book in timeout. I put the series in timeout for 4 months because I enjoyed Empire of Silence. I didn't love it. I didn't understand a lot of the hype. I thought the author was showing a lot of his inspirations within his text. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying this, but I'm constantly thinking of other series. I had a lot of recency bias where, like, you know, I was getting Dune vibes, and I was getting Farseer vibes, and I was getting Name of the Wind, and Red Rising, and all these other vibes that I just couldn't stop thinking about these other books. That's not the case here. That's not the case in Howling Dark. Howling Dark just knocked it out of the park. Grand slam. Just bases loaded. All just, ugh. The 4 points on the board, guys. Like, 4 points on the board. I could not believe how much I loved Howling Dark. Hadrian Marlowe is just one of the best protagonists in this cast of character and like what he's going through and his justifications. And this is a story that's told from a future narrator, you know, chronicling their past for the reader. And like he's giving his feedback on his thoughts in like real time, and he's like, man, I was stupid, or like, you know, if only I had known, or I was immature when I made this decision. And a lot of the times that like breaks my, because, you know, Stephen King tends to do that sometimes. He did it a lot in It, and he does it a lot in his books where he'll just give you the answer. And you know, Christopher Rocchio does that as well, and it just works. It works so well. His authorial voice, it's like he found his authorial voice. And this is, all of a sudden, all those inspirations are gone, and it's become his own thing. One of the best, no, this is the best sci-fi book I think I've ever read at this point in my life. Like, nothing else is coming to mind when I think sci-fi, or sci-fantasy even. Like, what tops Howling Dark? Nothing right now. Like, nothing. I won't keep harping on it, but guys, you should be reading Sun Eater. And guys, these are just a bunch of books in series that either had lukewarm to good starts, but then their subsequent books just blew me away. So guys, if you liked this video, please let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of some of these series. Do you agree with that these books are fantastic? If you want to talk on a more regular basis, check the description box down below for the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord, as well as links to all my social media and information about my Patreon. That said, guys, till next time, peace out, stay magical, bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.